So the reason why we are recording this meeting is because there are going to be families that are not able to join us tonight, and we want to make sure that they have access to this information as well. So we are going to be posting this on our website as soon as possible. So just so you're aware, this meeting is being recorded. I'm so excited to welcome you all to Southeastern's class of 2024. Your hard work and dedication to your education is clear, given the fact that over 1,100 students applied for 9th grade admission this year, and we only accepted 410 students. So you are top of the top, so congratulations. You should be very proud of your accomplishments so far. Southeastern is a great school to get a head start on your career, and we can't wait to see what the future has in store for you. I would like to acknowledge several members of our administrative team that are here this evening. First, I want to acknowledge our superintendent, Mr. Lopes. Mr. Lopes, along with the other members of our administrative team, have been working tirelessly on our reentry plan. I want to thank him for helping our school to get to a point where we've been able to accept more students over the last several years. And that creates more access to vocational education. So thank you, Mr. Lopes. There are several other administrators here as well, including our principal, Leslie Weckesser. Leslie is going to be speaking to you about the reentry plan. Christina Guarini, the Director of Student Life, will be talking to you about the high school experience, behavioral expectations, and equity. Our guidance director, Joanne McCormick, is not able to be here this evening, but Ms. Guarini will be covering the guidance piece for her. Heidi Driscoll, the Director of Academics, will also be speaking with you about class schedules and academic cohorts. Joining Ms. Driscoll are the academic supervisors, Joanne O'Brien and Courtney Trin. Mary Colby is one of our vocational supervisors. It's also here, and Bob Foley. Mary will be talking about the exposure exploratory phase that you'll be entering this year for the first half of 9th grade. Karen McGuire is the vocational director, and she's not able to be here either tonight, but she sends along her best wishes for the upcoming school year. Joanne Boucher, I want to recognize her as well. I'm not sure if she's in yet, but Ms. Boucher is new to our district this year. She's our new special education coordinator, and we're happy to have her aboard. The goal for the evening is to introduce you to the administrative team and to provide information of what to expect as a new student at our school. Once our team has finished explaining what the school year may look like, I would encourage anyone that still has questions to type those questions into the chat box at the bottom of the screen. I'm the only person that will be able to see the chat box. So once everyone has finished, we'll try to get through some of the questions that we can answer. And if I can't answer a question, I will ask an administrator to help me out. If we don't get to your question, please do not worry. I'm going to be printing the chat box as well, and we're going to be creating a frequently asked question sheet that we'll publish on our website. So you'll be able to get the answers to most of your questions there. So over the next week, we're going to be adding the recording for tonight's Zoom. We're going to be adding the frequently asked question sheet. We're also going to be adding a parent guide, and that parent guide is going to be very useful to you because it's the administrator's information. So their job titles, their email addresses, and their assistant's phone numbers. So if you ever have a question, you can reach out to them. And we'll also be posting several welcoming videos for you to view. The link for that site will be emailed to you once it's up and running. Any questions pertaining to the reopening plan? I want to also let you know that Ms. Weckesser is going to be hosting a question and answer forum next week, right, Ms. Weckesser?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll send you information on that as well. So again, if we're not able to get to you tonight, don't worry, we will get to you at some point very soon. And lastly, I want to mention to all students here that we're going to be hosting some virtual events, some trivia nights. So your 3E program leaders, so there's 4 teachers per cohort, and you're either in cohort 1 or cohort 2. So you're going to be getting invitations in your email for those events. So you just have to make sure that you follow the directions there. You might not be invited to all of them because again, we're dividing you into half so that the groups are smaller. So if you don't get an email for an event that your friend might have been invited to, don't worry about it. You will receive an invitation to a future event. So make sure you keep checking your email. Email is primarily how we communicate throughout this process. So keep checking your emails frequently over the next few weeks. All right, so with that, I'm going to hand it off to Ms. Weckesser.
Thank you, Mr. Ferris. My name is Leslie Wackesser, and I'm very happy to be meeting with you, all of you, this evening. At Southeastern, we have a One Southeastern philosophy, which makes our school great because of the diversity of the students that attend and the 9 communities that they come from. I want to thank all parents for taking the chance and sending your student here. You won't be sorry. We are prepared for all 3 levels of learning. As Mr. Ferris said, the administrative team has been working on all the small details that I know that many of you have had the opportunity to be able to read in our reopening plan. The most important thing that I want you to remember as parents of our students is that we look at our students like they're our own children. We will make sure that we take care of any issues that they encompass during the year, but most importantly, parents, if something isn't going quite as well as or as planned, it is very important that you partner with us, reach out to us, and let us know so that we can get ahead of it. At Southeastern, we have very high expectations for both our students and our parents. Again, it takes your involvement with us to educate the whole child. Students, we will hold you very high in regard to making sure that you get involved. Whether we're hybrid, 100% in person, or 100% remote, there'll be opportunities for you to get involved with other members of your community. I want you to take advantage of all the options that you have available to you, whether it be our early college high school program, which allows students to take college courses while they are a high school student, or to get involved in cooperative education, work placement in your junior or senior year. I want you to find who your go-to person is. Every student in this building should have a person that they relate to and can go to ask any question, no matter how small. With all of those pieces together, parents and students, we will ensure that your child has the best experience during their 4 years with us. Parents, there are other opportunities that you can get involved in our school. You can become a member of our school council or involve our principal's parent involvement group. You will be receiving numerous emails from me. It's very, very important that you stay tuned to your email, because as these opportunities present themselves, that's how they will come. Many of you took advantage of our student survey that we offered, and it is very important that if you did not receive the student survey with the school reopening plan, that you find me on the or email Mr. Ferris so that we can get a chance to go through it with you. Like Derek said, we are continuing to update our plan, and it is located on our webpage. If you go to the home screen, it is right there, and you will see our reopening plan. We continue to get updates from medical professionals, and that's why we will have our next parent and student question and answer session after we get updates from medical professionals. Again, I'd like you to please check your email, as I will communicate with you often. Keeping us both on the same page will be the key to your student success. I want to thank you for your time, and if there's anything that we need to answer, please feel free to reach out. With that being said, I would like to introduce Christina Guarini, our Director of Student Life.
You can go ahead, Derek, to the next screen. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Just to go over a little bit about the community that you're joining, we love when we have a new group of students come in. One of the most important things, and I think that Ms. Wackesser made reference to it, is that you become part of our family now. And so I want to explain a little bit about that so you have some general information and the logistics of your new community. There's 1,500 students in our community of 9 different communities that join us. As you know, the first day of school is in September 8th. You'll get a school calendar. You can see the school calendar on our website, and you will see on the school calendar, it has 2 cycles that students follow: an A cycle, which is yellow, and a B cycle. One thing that's easy to remember is the A cycle is always academics for freshmen. So that's an easy thing to remember. So when they're in their academic cycle, that will be yellow, and that will be the place that they always start our school year. So just if you can remember A for academics, so when a student says, well, I don't have any homework, or you're confused if they're on their academic or vocational cycle, you will know exactly where they belong. Our school day, it begins the academic cycle, and again, as you read the reopening plan, go to some of our meetings that we have, all of this will make sense to you. It starts at 7:45 when you're in your academic cycle, and the day ends at 1:50. Vocational cycle is 8:45 to 2:30. Students can arrive at 7:30, but not earlier than 7:15. We want to make sure that everyone's safe. We're able to keep students apart this year, and be really diligent about that. If your child's going to be absent for any reason, please use our attendance line. If you call the main number, you're able to go directly to our attendance line, and you can leave a message. And that way we know. If there's something health-wise that you want to discuss, I would call directly to the nurse's office and let them know and have a conversation with them if it's something you feel that you need to discuss with them. Physicals are mandatory, and our emergency forms. And again, you can imagine that this year it's so important that we have all of your correct information, just in case we need to get in touch with you for any reason. So as you update that, we have a student information system, which is called School Brains. And in that system, that you will get a login. And again, there's on the website, you'll find tutorials on how to use School Brains and be able to navigate that. So in the next couple of weeks, all of that stuff will appear there. So that will help you to just learn our new system. But you'll be able to log in via email. You can you'll be able to check student schedules and grades on our student information system. In there is also all of the demographic information, your phone number, your email address, your home address. If any of that changes, we would like you to log in, because we know it's a secure system, and go in and change that. If for some reason you're not able to do that, please call the guidance office and they will help you do that and change it in the system, okay? We have an all-call system to communicate messages. However, we do send most things electronically via email, but we also do have an all-call system where you'll hear, typically it would be Ms. Wackeser's voice. If there was something that she needed to tell a group of people, you would hear that. You may have had that in your other district. All students receive a Chromebook, which they will be given out on their first day in the building. So the first day they come into the building, in their class, they'll be given out their Chromebook. Sports and activities, we're still waiting for some guidance this time on sports and activities. So we are going to end the school day at 1:50 or 2:30 for right now. And again, we're waiting for some more guidance on and moving forward with any sports and activities. The bus routes will also be mailed to you on August 28th. You may get them sooner. The latest that they'll go out in the mail is August 28th. But again, we're hoping to get those to you sooner, and there's no cost for transportation. The vocational placement, and I'm gonna let the vocational supervisor talk a little bit about this, but one thing that students ask that does come through guidance and through student life is, gosh, how do I get my program? And their grades, attendance, and behavior is sort of the criteria that we use for you to come into Southeastern, is the criteria that we also use for your vocational placement. So it's really important, even when a student is maybe in a program that they don't love, that they're just going in and seeing it, and seeing it for a day and just seeing what the environment's like. They may not love it, it might not be their first choice, but they need to do well in all of those programs, so that then when they do go to make their choice, they've done well across the board, because they do receive some scoring in all of those programs. So again, that's going to be really important. Any student, right before they do make their shop selection or their vocational selection, We will send something home to you so that you go over it with them, and we will not enter that in without a signature from you, so that we know you've had a conversation about what the best fit for them is. A student automatically goes on the waiting list if they do not get their first choice. So they automatically go on the waiting list for what was their first choice. Okay, and we'll talk about that stuff when it gets closer, but it's always a big question at the beginning of the year. The student life team consists of, we have adjustment counselors and behavior specialists. So if we have any issues, social emotional issues, we discuss that. We are really sort of the hub and of our community. So we are the link for students and teachers and parents and the community. So there's a lot of things that come through our office, and there isn't ever something that you can't ask. There's nothing that you can't ask and then call again if you don't know or you didn't understand. We enjoy making sure that students are comfortable in our building. And that's a priority for us, is that we try to make this very large school small enough that students don't become a number, you know, that they feel valued and what we do is relevant to them. We also have a new course over the last couple of years, which I love. It's called the High School Experience, because we don't really teach students how to be successful in high school. And that course really works on, they have a theme every month that is centered around, and they really work on things that both we feel that they need to know to be successful in high school. And we talk about everything from their sleep schedule to how to study for courses to reading. And we also, in that class, take into consideration what students want to learn about. What do they need to know more about? What questions they still have about the school that we haven't answered? And so we spend a lot of time seeing what they need from us as a school and as a community. So it's a great place to do that. This team this year with the student life team is going to be able to be a support team for all students. So students will have a guidance counselor, an adjustment counselor, a behavior specialist, and a high school experience team member. So they should not be able to fall through the cracks for any reason whatsoever. And if they are, you absolutely need to call me, because that would be unheard of at that point. So we have to do something different. Whatever we're doing is not working, but we'll try something different. We don't give up. We don't give up on students, and you either. So you call anytime that you need to discuss your child. The equity, inclusion, diversity, and social justice is a priority for us. There are things that we're going to be talking about and working on, working around some core values, you know, just a curiosity to learn and be compassionate towards others, and just growth and learning from each other. We'd like to bring the 9 communities together, not have students navigate that all by themselves. Maybe answer some of the misconceptions about each of the communities and really talk about those things and be transparent in what we're trying to, as a community, what we're trying to become. And we want students to come in and leave as the best possible person they could be, to go out into the world, be able to work with anybody, and just be a good human being. That's what the world needs right now. So we'll spend a lot of time on what does that look like? What does that mean to just be a good person? That's what the world needs right now. We have the parent guide that Mr. Ferris made reference to. And in that parent guide, again, you'll see all the administrators, what's under their role, and you'll be able to reach out to us at any time, okay? And the last thing I'll say is, you know, everything that we do, we want to partner with you. And one thing that I remember, and I know the administrative team remembers, is that when students are high school, we're getting them from anywhere from 13, 14 years old to 18 years old. Well, you can imagine those times in your life are some of the most challenging. So we go through all their firsts with them. We go through a lot of different experiences with them. It's a big growth spurt in that time. And I just want you to know that, you know, we're all in, right? That's what we do. And so when students are struggling and they've, you know, anything from their first breakup to struggling with making decisions around their peers and their interactions. You know, again, we're going to be talking about that together, and we need to work together to make this community come together. So it can't just be about us and, you know, about you. We have to come together on these issues. It's tough being them. Their lives are very stressful, and we see it day in and day out, you know, what they go through. So again, please reach out to us. We are not judgmental. And again, we value that partnership. So I'm going to enjoy working with all of you. And if you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to call any one of us. Thank you.
Okay, next I'm going to introduce Heidi Driscoll.
Thank you, Derek. Can you hear me okay? All right, great. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple things: schedules, class rotations, and academic cohorts. You can flip that page, thank you. Okay, so this year is unique for our high school because we wanted to make sure safety was a priority. So we grouped every single student into an academic team. That means that each group of students travels from English, math, history, science, and high school experience to the same 5 teachers. So that means students are not all over the building. They're in close physical proximity, the classrooms are. So there isn't a lot of mixing, I guess, across the building. As Christina said, we have 1,500 students, and we wanted to make sure that we are using the cohort model to limit the amount of contact that students have throughout the building. So the benefit of that is that teachers will really get to know their group of students because they'll have the same cohort. It's much like a middle school pod or a team. Next slide, please. So you will notice that your child has a cohort number. You'll find it on the schedule. You'll find it on all sorts of things that we have this year. And whether you have one child or let's say you have older children as well at Southeastern, the numbers mean the same thing. The first number is the grade. So 1 is for freshmen. The second number is the teacher team. So that means that particular group of 5 teachers who supports a cohort of students. So number 2 is the teacher team. And then within the teacher team, there are groups of students that start at a different teacher each morning. So this one happens to be cohort 4. So that means within this team, there's a teacher, a group of 2-4, a group of 2-1, 2-2, 2-3. Each group is separate and they travel together throughout the day. Now the last number on the cohort number is probably going to be the most important to you parents because that identifies which sub-cohort your child is in. Are they a Monday, Wednesday student with alternating Fridays, or are they a Tuesday, Thursday student? So if it's a 1, it's Monday, Wednesday. If it's a 2, it's Tuesday, Thursday. And Ms. Weckesser sent out your cohort numbers, and we have a customized school calendar so you can see specifically which days during the hybrid model are in person and which days are remote learning. That's it. So each day consists of 5 periods, which is not anything new. Period 3 is slightly extended because students will be eating lunch in their classrooms. We won't send 500 kids to the cafeteria. For us, this isn't a big change because for several years, we've had breakfast delivered right to our classrooms at Southeastern, and students eat there. So this year, we're doing the same for lunch. Typically, our periods rotate each day so that students experience a different course at a different time throughout the week. But this year, our current plan is to rotate them by term so that if we're moving in and out of hybrid or remote, students will have a consistent schedule, and parents, you'll be able to monitor which class they should be in if they're home much easier. Honors and deeper learning. We've received lots of questions about how do I know if my student can be in an honors class? So because of the safety and commitment to limiting exposure to other individuals, we prioritize the cohort model, period, for everyone. But to make sure that all students have access to honors coursework and earning honors credit, we're offering a deeper learning option in all core academic courses. Now, this is actually something that we were working on even before March, because at Southeastern, we're committed to helping all students have access to the most challenging courses that they select, that they would like to participate in. So that's what we're doing. So any student who chooses to participate in this deeper learning can earn honors credit right through additional opportunities in their core classes. Okay. So in short, when you get these deeper learning assignments, projects, events, you'll see those right in your Google Classroom. Your teachers, all of your academic teachers will help you connect with those. And if you complete 75% of those at the honors standard, you earn honors credit. So it's not something you have to commit to now and worry about dropping in or out or anything like that. It's something that anybody can participate in at any time. So that's also what's different about this. If there's something or a unit that you're particularly passionate about or something that you want to challenge yourself in, all students have access to all of the honors work, period. It's not exclusive. Anyone can challenge themselves in a way that you don't have to worry about it, I guess, changing your schedule or being sort of a high stakes situation. Okay. And remember, if you have any questions about these things, don't forget that you can put some questions to Mr. Ferris in the chat, and we'll look at those at the end of this. So something in academics that you should know is that all academic teachers use Google Classroom. So that means on remote days, students will log in and participate online in every academic course at the start of each period, just as they would walk into a classroom to participate on an in-person day. So you won't have to jump from Schoology to Blackboard to other things. We're just Google Classroom in academics. Next slide. Okay, we do have a couple tips for you. So I know this is overwhelming sometimes to be switching schools and going to new platforms. So there's just a couple things I want to highlight, which some of you might know already. The first thing is, if you have done Google Classroom before, as a parent, the best place to look is the upper left-hand corner of your child's Google Classroom. You see those three little bars. And when you click that, you can go to your child's to-do list. And when you look at it, you can either, I have it set to all classes if you look at number 3, and it will literally show any assignment that has not yet been submitted, and it'll list that for your child. And if you want to see everything that they've done, you can click on the Done tab, and you'll see everything that they've done. If you want to look at it by class, instead of all classes, you would simply just pick the particular class you want to look at. So that's something that you don't have to use, but I really think that it's important to look at as a parent, and it might help your child stay on track, whether we are in person, remote, or any way you do that. Okay, next one. The other thing is, and Christina mentioned this, you'll be getting your login for SchoolBrains, which is our student information system. You'll be able to check grades in SchoolBrains. That's where all the grades are for all of your classes, both academic and vocational. And what I highlighted here is on our Southeastern website. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. It's sersd.org. We have quick links, which are places that you will probably use throughout the year. You will use the SchoolBrains link. You will definitely use the student links. Some of you have already been working on your recommended optional summer work for freshmen. You click student links and click that sunshine, and you can be using that to get ready for the school year. That's where this is the hub of all of our information. So my contact information is here. If you have any questions at all about academics, I am more than happy to help you. My phone number is 508-230-1224, and my email is right on the slide. Feel free to shoot me an email or ask any questions after this if you think of them later. We're all here to help you. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Driscoll. So next I'm going to introduce Mary Kobe. She's a vocational supervisor, and she's going to talk a little bit about freshman exposure and exploratory.
Good evening, everyone. So great to see you. Again, I'm Mary Kobe. I am one of the vocational supervisors along with Bob Foley and Karen McGuire is the Director of Career Services. So during your exploratory exposure process, you will have the opportunity to see all 21 shops. So you will spend one day in school and one day remote within the programs. While you're in school, you will get to meet the teacher, you'll get to participate in the shop, you'll get to meet your classmates, and you'll get to learn something new within that program. When your second day or your other day of remote day, you will learn about the different careers that are available within that program. And then you'll get to learn about all the different amazing opportunities that we do have here that you can be involved in. So within that exploratory exposure, you will all be on a team and you'll get to meet the teacher and meet the students that are on your team. You will go to that team or teacher in the morning for your homeroom. And then we have vocational mentors who are 11th grade students who will help you get around the building, answer all questions that you have, and you really get to, engage in the process of the exploratory exposure. And that really kind of sums it up. I know Ms. Guarini touched upon how do you, get into the shop that you would like. So we do go with grades, attendance, and behavior. So we really say, be here, do the best you can, and be the best person that you can be, and we'll, love to see you on the first day of school. And we know you'll be very nervous, so any questions you have will be in the hallways to get you where you gotta go and where you need to be. So that's our exploratory exposure process. I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Ferris, and it was so nice meeting you all.
Thank you, Ms. Colby. Okay, so that concludes this slideshow. Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is answer some of the questions that have been written down in the chat box. And if you have a question at this particular point and you want to put it in the chat box, great. But as I mentioned before, if we don't get to your question, please don't worry. We're going to be doing another Q&A at some point next week, which again, you'll receive information about. Okay.
So we do have a lot of questions about how to get your email changed. So if you're dropping your email into this chat, we do appreciate that, but it would be much more useful to email the school directly so we can get that changed for you if there's an issue with communication. We will save this, but if you just put your email, we're not sure how to attach the student to the email. So that would be really helpful.
Emergency contact forms.
Ms. Weckesser, can you please start over again?
I sent out the link to the emergency contact forms 2 weeks ago, and those will be the data entry that we will use to have all updated information on file. They can be either emailed electronically or mailed to the school. If someone did not receive the email or has a trouble locating those emergency forms, please email me directly, and I will make sure that you get the link.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Here's a question from Ms. Colby. How long is the exposure period for each shop? How many days?
So your exposure exploratory is 2 days. You will have 1 day where you'll be in person in the shop and 1 day remote that you'll log on and you'll communicate with the teacher and the mentor through the online process.
Ms. Guarini, we have another question about physical education. How is that embedded into high school experience?
Oh, great. So physical education, as far as, well, that would be for the upperclassmen. We have, so there's guidance right now that students that are taking part in physical education if they are to, everyone needs to have their mask on at all times. So if they're doing activities in the gym, freshmen do not have that built into their schedule right now. But for upperclassmen, if you have students, we will try to go outside as much as possible, especially on days that are nice. And students that are outside need to be at least 10 feet apart. But freshmen have the high school experience course.
Thank you. So we do have a lot of questions about what if I don't want to send my child in September? It's very important that you look at our remote learning plan. We do, like we're required to, have a full distance option, but it comes with pros and cons. Ms. Weckesser, do you want to address that?
Yes, so we will be updating our school reopening plan with this section in here. So if a parent chooses not to send their child to school, we will have remote learning for both vocational and academics. However, it is not a full selection of courses. There will be a form with a link that will be attached to that if a parent chose to sign their student up for remote learning, and those details will be forthcoming.
Thank you. We also have questions about home rooms. So we don't have a traditional 10-minute homeroom. You will be with your team. You'll be with those same 5 teachers and academics every academic cycle. And for your vocational exploratory, you will also have a team that you will be with. And if I'm not mistaken, they are the same for both.
So they're color coded also. So you will get a color of the team that you're on. So the first day when students come off the bus, we'll have it color coded so that they know what color they are. And we have organized 4 different bus stops so that all of the students aren't exiting the bus at the same time. So their color indicates the area of the building that their courses are. So the courses are in this model all next to each other, so that as close as possible, so that students can just move with that cohort in between the classes that they need to move in. And so that again is color coded so students know. So the bus driver will be able to say, you know, blue and red can get off at this bus stop. And then again, so there'll be a limited amount of students that go, and there'll be plenty of people there to help students get to their class on the first day, okay? And same thing with the vocational. The vocational may be a different color because it may be in a different area of the building. So they could have 2 colors, one for their academic and one for their vocational.
Okay, there are questions about, is my student required to ride the bus? No one is required to ride the bus. If you want to provide your own transportation for your child, absolutely fine, not a problem at all. We have some general questions about passing periods. As you might remember in high school.
I do want to say on the bus that there is assigned seating. So I just want to be clear that you'll get the bus expectations, and so when you get that, please read that, because students will have assigned seats on the bus in order to sort of follow our procedures and protocols. So I do want you to make sure that when that comes out from transportation, that you take the time to read that so that students can go right to their seat.
Thank you. So passing periods, we will not sound a bell and have everyone in the whole school move at the same time as we would in a traditional time. As of right now, students are moving between classrooms only in their team. So there will be appropriate social distancing. We will not be having students roam across the building and mixing in cohorts. That's something that the administrative team has been working on for a while to make sure that we adapt to support our students. Lots of questions about buses, like Christina said. Those schedules will be coming out. Did you say by the 28th, we hope, Christina?
Yes. The latest they'll be mailed out is on August 28th. again, she's hoping to get all of that to everyone sooner if possible.
Okay, we'd like to remind all of you about next week's question and answer. I'm sure we have lots of very specific questions or questions about specific students. Ms. Weckesser, do you want to share some information about the Q&A?
Right, so I had said in my opening that we're waiting for next week's medical update, and we will send out a Zoom link information, the Zoom link invite, to all parents via email. I look for that. It should be out either Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Okay, and I think there's one last question before Mr. Ferris can wrap it up. We have some questions about IEPs. If your student is on an IEP and you want to make sure that we have that from your sending district, please absolutely shoot us an email. Our special ed coordinator, Joanne Boucher, is on here. You can send her an email, or you can reply to any one of Mr. Ferris's emails, and he will get that information to her.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for being here today. We really appreciate you taking the time. We will, as I mentioned before, we are going to be printing out this chat box. I know that we weren't able to get to many of your questions, but as we mentioned before, the Q&A next week, but I'm printing these questions out and we will be able to get back to you regarding the answers to these questions. Okay, all right, so we're going to be logging off now. So thanks again so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you in September. Thank you so much.
Take care.